Thunder! 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 Thundercats! Ho!
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose. Feel the magic, hear the roar. Thundercats are loose. Thundercats.
All over there. This is Officer Mandora, Evil Chaser of Control Force 5 speaking. Stand by, I'm coming aboard.
Hello, Bots and Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and welcome to a very special review. Today, we are going to be taking a look at the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats Mandora, but also today is the final day that we have to back the awesome Super 7 Ultimates Cats Lair. Yes, your final chance to own a piece of Thundercats toy history ends tonight at the stroke of midnight. Now, which midnight? I'm not really sure about that because I think time zones put that into question. But anyway, my clock says less than 24 hours, so that's what we're going to have to go with. Right now, we are sitting at 3,705 backers, and we have less than 24 hours to get as many more as we can. So stay tuned after the video for another episode of Lair Watch, where we will see how far we've progressed from the start of this video. Alright, starting this awesome review, you can see Mandora comes in the standard brown mailer box. You have the Thundercats logo here, you have Mandora, you have ages 14 plus, you have Super 7 on the bottom. On the back of the box you have some credits for the box and a barcode, but this is just like an outer box, a mailer box if you will. The cool presentation doesn't actually get until you get to this awesome box right here, and this is a nice black box with a red foil Thundercat symbol on it, and that is so cool. You have the Thundercat logo here, you have ages 14 plus, Mandora Super 7. On the top of the box you have Ultimates. On the bottom of the box you have some credits and a barcode. Coming around to the back you have another Thundercats logo here, you have contents, one figure and with accessories, and Super 7. This is very awesome, but there is still more to go because this is a slip cover, and when you lift the awesome slip cover up, you can see the figure herself, and there she is. Wow, that is so awesome. She is packed in there with her accessories. You have another Thundercats logo that has appeared now. On the top, you still have Ultimates. Nothing has changed on the bottom. And when you come to the back of the box, you have an awesome picture of Mandora. You have Super 7 up here in the corner, and then you have a cool read up. So let's zoom in and focus on the read up, and you can pause the video here, read that to your heart's content. But we must be moving outward and onward, and wow, Mandora looks really awesome there. I always thought she looked great in the cartoon. So that is her in the box, and no one wants to see her in the box. I know I don't. So let's get her out and see what this hot cop can do. And here you have Mandora out of the box, and out of the box she stands just under 7 inches tall. She comes with a whole bunch of accessories that we'll take a look at later. But first off, I want to take a closer look at Madora the Evil Chaser herself. And coming real close in on Mandora, I think they nailed the head sculpt. And it is very, very cool. It reminded me of RoboCop when I was watching it when I was a kid, because of the silver and the visor, and she kind of talked like a robot anyway, and she was a cop, so yeah, you could see the similarities. On the top of the helmet, it's all black. She does have a place for her hair to come sticking out the top in a kind of a ponytail. Is really neat. There's a lot of cool design in this hair mold. I like that. On the side of the helmet you have her ears sticking out. That is really cool. She never took her helmet off in the show, so you can imagine maybe she had elf ears. I'm not really sure, but it's cool nonetheless. Coming down, she has a nice fleshy face with some bright pink lips. Those are really nice. Coming to her outfit, starting with her shoulders. This whole shoulder piece is supposed to be a little coat that she wears. It's supposed to zip down the front. She took it off in the first episode that she was in to fight a muck monster. But here it is just a molded detail and it is glued on. But you can lift the shoulder pads, and on this side you can see that her costume is cut to have a free shoulder. That is really nice, going down to a plain fleshy arm. On this side she has the black, and that is good. And basically she's wearing a bodysuit under the shoulder pads. Going down her arm, she is wearing some pink and red gloves. She has kind of a light gray belt with a white symbol right here. Could be the symbol for the Interplanetary Control Force, who she works for. Not exactly sure. Coming down, she has a light gray holster for her boomerang with some pink thigh straps. That is neat. Coming down to her boots, which are done in a pink and a red like her gloves. Now, I don't remember if they actually cut to the sides like that. I think they went straight across, and in some pictures I think they were just highlighted at the top. I think the costume design changed over the years, and that is still acceptable, and it still looks pretty good. Zooming out to see the whole figure in frame, she looks really good. Coming around to the back, nothing that you wouldn't expect over here. She does have kind of a cut with the coat here, and there are some cuts in the top of her shoulder pad. Coming back, you do have some copyright detail here on the back of the leg, and on the bottom of the feet you do have some holes for her to peg into places. And that is pretty much what your Mandora is going to look like. Moving on. And for articulation, start at the head. The head can go around 360 degrees. You get a little wiggle waggle in it. You can kind of look down, kind of look up a little bit, but there really isn't much there. Your shoulders are going to be kind of hindered by these shoulder pads, but you can kind of lift them up a little bit if you want to get them out of the way. But the shoulder can come up from the body a long way, and it can come back down. It can go around 360 degrees. You do have a bicep rotation here, 360 degrees, coming down to a elbow bend right here. So that gives you about 90 degrees there. And that is built into a forearm rotation, 360 degrees right there. And that will bring you down to your fist. And this particular fist can rotate 360 degrees, and it hinges in and out. Now be very careful with these fists, because I worry that the fists are done really small. Like the hinges, the tabs right here that plug into the wrist, and this feels like it's very fragile to me. So you might want to always make sure it's heated up before you start to try to bend it in and out, because if that snaps, that's going to be kind of worthless. But anyway, that is just one of my concerns. Coming to the center of the figure, you do have an ab rotation right here. It goes 360 degrees. You also get a little bit of wiggly waggly there, so that is good. Nothing at the waist. This is one solid piece here. Coming down to the legs, and the legs can go up a little ways. That's not too bad. They can't go back because the butt gets in the way, and they can go out to the side, so that is good. You do have 360 degrees of thigh rotation there. Coming down to a knee bend, single hinge, and it's not really that good a knee bend. You don't get a lot, so that's kind of a bummer there. But that is built into a what I would consider like a boot cut, which is slightly above the boot, but that's okay. You got 360 degrees there. Coming down to the foot is on a hinge. It can go down, it can go up a little bit, and you can rock it around 360 degrees if you're so inclined. So for some reason there's a lot of limited articulation in her, I think. So that is kind of a bummer. Anyway, moving on. And for accessories, Mandora comes with 10 hands. She has some grabby hands. She has a pointy hand. She has a thumbs up hand. She has some punchy hands. And she has some weapon holding hands. All the hands that you could possibly want for a space cop. Alright, moving on. And Mandora comes with 2 additional alternate heads. This is pretty much the same expression she has on her standard head, except her hair up here is blowing, like if she is riding her bike. And the hair is nice and it kind of wiggles a little bit, but I wouldn't mess with it too much. It feels very thin right here at the base, so if you mess with it and twist it around, it may break off, so be very careful with that. But it's a nice head nonetheless. Her second alternate head is basically an angry head, where she's kind of got her teeth gritted there, and her visor is showing like a tracking device or a weapon lock, or I'm not sure what it's showing, a little scope thing. I can't remember when she did that in the show, but it's pretty neat design in any event, and I'm happy to have it. And that is going to be her alternate heads. Moving on. And the next thing Mandora likes to sport is her badge, and she likes to flip this out and say, Mandora Evil Chaser, Interplanetary Control Force, and then she'll throw cuffs on you, take you into custody. But that is really neat, and this is really cool. Very small, but they got the picture of her on there, and they have the design for what her badge, I guess, would be. Not a normal badge in the traditional manner, but I guess it's a futuristic police space cop badge that I'm sure you don't want to see if you're a criminal. Alright, moving on. And for her next accessory, she comes with her electronic ticket book. And every good police officer needs one of these to cite citations and pull over lunatics who are sideswiping innocent snarfs and all sorts of stuff. And it's really nicely done. It's got a purple metallic paint on it. Kind of looks like a cell phone, to be honest. But if they didn't have those back in the day, but you got a lot of buttons here and a nice display screen there, so I like it. She can hold this. It has a lot of great detail for something so small. Alright, moving on. Next, Mandora has this electronic tracking device, and it's really nicely done. It's really small, hard to get into focus, but you do have some neat paint apps on there. You got a little red button here. You have a nice blue ball there, which would point out the direction, north, south, east, or west. Nice silver antenna coming up from the top. And yeah, that is pretty neat. And she could hold this and track quick pick. Alright, moving on. And for Mandora's next accessories, she comes with a set of handcuffs, and these are really nicely done. They are done with a gray plastic for the cuffs, and they have a little metal chain attached to them, and it's really neat, and it has a nice width to it. And believe it or not, these actually work. If you want to lock up the mutants, she can put them on there with a little care and removal of the fist. You can get them on pretty much anybody, and I think this is a really cool accessory. Alright, moving on. And Mandora's last accessories are going to be boomerangs, and this is your standard electronic boomerang that she has, and she will carry it in her holster. You have nice design here, really neat. And the second boomerang we get is pretty much the same, except it's sculpted with some detail and effects coming out the back. Looks like some fire effects, and the middle circle is now red instead of blue, so there could have been an ability for the boomerang to do fire stuff. I don't know, but there's something to it, because it's more than just a regular boomerang. But whatever it meant, it is a very powerful weapon that she can utilize in different ways. Alright, and that's gonna be Mandora's accessories. Moving on. In full comparison, here you have Mandora with Lion-O, Chitara, Panthro, Tigra, and Pimira. And I think it's pretty good comparison. It does appear that humans are a little smaller compared to Thundercats. If Mandora is a human, like I said before, she's never took off her helmet, so she could be some sort of elf-like creature. But still, they look good together. Alright, moving on. And this has been the Super 7 Thundercats Ultimates Mandora the Evil Chaser. And she was a big part of the Thundercats series from the very first season. She was an interesting character, kind of like a Dirty Harry RoboCop John Wayne kind of thing all rolled into one. I think they did a good job with her. She was in a lot of episodes, and she was always entertaining when she came along. So it made perfect sense to put her in the Ultimates line, and I am happy to add her to my collection. Speaking about the figure itself, I like the sculpt, I like the mold. It looks very much like Mandora did. I like the paint. I did have a few blemishes on mine, not anything major. The articulation was okay, hindered by the shoulders a lot, and there wasn't a lot in the legs, and I'm not sure why that was, because it seems like they could have made it have full run knee joints, but that's just not how they designed the figure. I liked all the accessories. The alternate hands were okay. Again, I feel very reluctant to change them out or to move them around. I feel the pegs are really small and brittle, and I don't know if they're going to hold up over time, but we'll have to wait and see. I like the ticket book. I like the tracker, the handcuffs, the badge. Those are all very unique things to Mandora. I like the alternate heads. I think she's a good figure and would recommend adding her to your collection if you're interested in her. And if this is a figure that you are interested in, you can find her at online retailers for $55 to $60. Also, as a special note with Mandora, they did release an electric charger, her police motorcycle. I considered getting it, but then again, I couldn't see spending $150 for a motorcycle I'd only use to have her on it, or maybe Lion-O, and I also didn't have anywhere to put it, so I just spent $80 on a Batmobile. So another vehicle is really not anything I'm looking for. But if you're looking for it, you can find it online, places like Big Bad Toy Store, and it will go for $150. I think also this is one of those things that goes a little cheaper because it's kind of a niche item and not a lot of people want it, so if you might be able to find it on the secondary markets for cheaper than $150. So if you are looking for either the Mandora figure or the electric charger, happy hunting. So that's it, guys. That's going to be the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for the next episode of Lair Watch if you have the time, but if not, have a great night, and until next time, keep playing. Hello, Butts and Books fans. Welcome again to Lair Watch, and this is a very exciting time, for today is the final day that we have to pre-order the Super 7 Ultimates Cats Lair. Wow, this has been a very fast 60 days. I remember when it first went up, I was so excited. I threw out a pre-order video so everybody would get the information that they needed to possibly make one of their all-time favorite dreams come true of owning a cat's lair that is huge and authentic and just very detailed. And we are closing in on the final few hours to be able to make that happen. So if you have not decided, please take the time, look at all the facts if you're interested, and good luck with your decision. So when this started, we needed 3,000 backers for it to be funded. We got that, and we got that within the time allotted in order to get the early bird special, which is a replica of the Key of Thundera. So that is going to be included in the first 3,000 cats lairs, so that is awesome. And now we had to push towards 4,000 in order to unlock the Tier 1 reward, which was Tiger's Lab Set, a short sword of omens, and a claw shield that would go perfect in the armory. And when I started this video tonight, we had 3,705 backers. And taking another look at the counter, we see that the counter has moved up by 11 people. We have 3,716 backers now, and a little over 20 hours to go, and that's at the time of this recording. When you watch this, it will hopefully be a lot more backers, but less time, so it's gonna be crazy. There is just so much to this thing. But it is expensive. It is $650, and that is hard to come by for people who have kids and families and stuff like that. But they've also included the option of shop Pay. Remember, Shop Pay is the thing that you can sign up and possibly get payments on this thing for as low as maybe $70 a month for a couple more months. Of course, the longer payment plans you use, it's going to cost a little more because that's interest and they got to make their money too. But that is an option, and that may be a way that if you're looking to get this thing that you can actually do it. But the decision is always got to be yours. You have to look at, see what your finances are, and if you can, and if you can't. Sometimes we can't, and it sucks if you can't get this thing and you really want it. Do not do anything that would put you in a bad position. It's really not worth it. It's just plastic at the end of the day, and you have to really put priority first with your family and your bills and all that other stuff. So if you can't afford it and there's no way you could do it, unless you go out on a limb and risk a lot of stuff, I wouldn't do it. Use caution and wisdom when you make your decision. Alright guys, that is pretty much it. It's coming down to the wire. Just a few more hours left and we will know what's going on. 3,716 backers right now. Got to get to 4,000. That's 300 more within 20 hours. It's possible, but if not, you know, they can probably give us the lab set some other way. And I've got a ton of claw shields and swords of omens that I can stick in the armory, so it's not really gonna be a big loss, but it would have been nice to have, I think. So anyway guys, that is it. Just a short one tonight. I'll be watching and waiting. I hope you have a good rest of your weekend, and until next time, keep playing.